Welcome to a noisy Planet 6 parts video. Today's video is the block seal. That's what we want to call it. We're going to put this on. I know this part gives a lot of trouble to people because actually the only reason the only thing that gives people trouble is this, where you put the wood. In this case, where you don't put the wood. And the reason why that is, unfortunately, like I know Moss, they give you this rubber silicone slash piece of sugar of a thing to put in here that's terrible. It's terrible to get in. I don't know how. I wish you gave instruction manuals how to do it, because I've struggled trying to get it in. I tried to do it once, says no, that's not for me. I know I've seen Ellen in his video struggling to get it in. And is it worth it? No. It came with wood to begin with. You should use wood. I'm going to use wood, and there's not a hope in hell I'm going to use that rubber stuff ever again because it's brutal. So I'm sticking with wood. But again, if you want to go with that new rubber stuff, by all means, it's your choice. Okay, so getting that part out of the way. We want to make sure when we put it in that it's actually facing the right direction. So obviously our 3 holes here go towards the front. That means the long end is to the front. So therefore when you're putting your gasket in, the long end is to the front. So as you can see, the long end sticks out to the front. Sorry, the air compressor's running here. So it's pretty noisy. Now, for me, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put the block in. And I'm going to put the screws in. No, I'm just barely going to put them in. And the reason is, I'm just lining it up. And the reason why is that some people, what they'll do is, they'll try to put the wood in and then hammer the metal down this to get down. Now remember, this is pretty much an aluminium block. So you're going to ding it. If you go wrong, you're going to edge it or whatever. I'll tell you now, I'd rather, basically, sorry, here's the pieces of wood you use for it. I'd rather smash these all day and get these wrong than get that wrong all day long. So to me, this is the way I do it, and like I said, maybe for you, maybe not for you. Like I said, it's a choice. Anyway, okay, so the piece of wood you get, which one? Let's say this one. When you get it, you realize when you go to measure it to the edge that the slot or the groove is meant to fit in, it's too big. Well, at least from my supplier. It's too wide, too long, and it's also too fat. Great, I don't mind that. So what do? Basically what I'll do is I'll take the wood and I'll measure to the edge. I know I put this in, I should have held it up. I'll basically measure the edge and I stencil, and I basically take it to the bench machine and I grind it down. I also run both sides because I want to make sure I have a smooth finish both sides. Now, do I do it to absolute the size? No, I do a tiny bit bigger, tiny bit oversized, so I'll still leave a bit on the edge. What I also do, and this is the important part for me, is, and hopefully you can see this, is I'll take an edge. Hang on, I'll zoom in a bit. There you go. I'll take an edge off the wood. Just enough, see? Just enough. Because what it is because it's too big, I need to get it to fit in the hole. So, sorry, I'm zooming in. So when I now take that edge, what will allow it to happen is, I hope you can see this, because the way it's sitting on the stand, is with that little edge, even though it's over fat, I know the thing is filthy because my hands are filthy. What will allow me to do is get the first tap or two in, and now as you can see, it's just sitting there. Because of the little groove, it's allowing to stand there. Now, all I have to do is drive it home. However, before I drive it home, I'm going to do the same and put the other one in. So now, again, with the little lip, it just gives me enough to bite in. So I'm not trying to put a flat, I'm not trying to put something big and flat into something small and flat. Just that little groove's enough to send it in the hole. And now it's in. Now I can just drive it home. And as you drive it home, you'll see it will start to shave the wood off it because it's shaving it as it goes down, so you know you get a good fit. I said I'm not too worried about the top because it's going to be too big anyway. So you have 2 choices. You can either take the screw out, but I leave the screw in. And the reason why is, now that I'm shaving wood, I don't want the wood to go down the hole. So now I'll push it the rest of the way down. I only barely put it in to start with just because I wanted it to line up. Give me a screwdriver, quicker. Now I won't tighten these, but I'll put them down enough that it's, again, I'll make sure the hole is covered, so the bits of shaving the woods are not going to go in, because before I finish it, I'm going to make sure it's actually flush here. before I get it flush, I need to drive the wood home. And again, they're only pieces of wood, so what happens if they break? You do it again. I've yet to have one break, and watch, no me, it will break this time. Now it's flattening out because I know I've hit the bottom. I've bellied out the bottom. Alright, so now I've bellied out at the bottom. Alright, so next thing, how do we undo that? I have to go grab it. But watch, what do I use for this? I just realised after I started, I forgot to bring it with me. Hacksaw blade. So, it's great. Sorry, I have my hand there because I don't want, I'm trying to stop the bits of wood from going down. If I can. Now if you're wondering why I'm blading this or doing this first before I've tightened it down, it's because when I go down the rest of the way, it's going to pull at that last little bit. Alright. Now I have that on. Now I can make sure it's nice and flush at the front, where I want it. And now I can screw it home. No, of course, the screwdriver I bring is the wrong one. Oh, there it is. You ever hate when you know you have something but you don't see it and you think you've forgotten it? So now, there should be very little left on this. The only thing you have to do now is sand this. You actually want to sand it. And you have two ways of sanding. Can I get a bit more off of this? I think I can. You have two ways of sanding it. One is you can actually get sandpaper, which anything like, to be honest, you can use 600-800 grit. It's not going too much in the metal. Or if you have the die grinder that you use, if you have a die grinder you use that for, you can use that. I'll give you 1 second, I'm going to get mine. I realize I don't bring everything with me. So, die grinder, I use this to polish it. There we go. Alright, let me take this off and show you. As you can see, absolutely perfect. Perfectly smooth, like I mean smooth. Same here, perfectly smooth. So that's just my little way of doing it. Like if you said, if you don't have the die grinder, you can always do it with a hand sandpaper by hand, but obviously it's going to take a bit longer. But yeah, that's how I do it. And I know that I have a flush at the front exactly where I want it, and that's it. So I hope this is helpful. Like I said, this is my way of doing it. You can do it your own way, but that's how I get it on, and I make sure I get it on nice, tight and right, and I know I'm all the way down and I'm right to the edges. So again, the usual, any comments, questions, concerns, give me a shout and let me know what you think. And again, thanks for watching.